Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I am going to continue with the same module, that is the research skills, and the same chapter, that is the last chapter, that is the chapter number 6 or 7 from the classroom. In the last class we have discussed some activities that is based on the various versions, various sample activity, and today I am going to continue with the same activities that we have covered in the last class, and then move to the new topic or a new activity that is carried on, and also the appendix of this chapter or this module. So today positively we will going to finish this module in the today's class, on the day tomorrow's class, not more than tomorrow's class. So let's start with the previous class session what we have covered in the last class, then moves to the today's session, that is a sample activity. So let's start with the previous class session. This is one of the sample activity that we have studied in the last class, that is sample 3, that is the division 2, from the classroom of Irene Vashel, who has 13 years teaching experience, 6 years experience as a curriculum coordinator, and currently working as assistant principal. Assistant principal means a vice principal that is below the principal. So this is or she is a lady that have a 13 years of teaching experience that is carried out. And what is the main topic? That is creating your own or create your own activity or create your own country. Then social studies subject, grade is a 6, number of students that is applicable is 28, and the time duration is 2.5 weeks, that is a 2 1/2 week. And from the classroom of, this is a note that is given, because the school has no teacher librarian, resource room student were combined with a regular 6 social student, or so that a team teaching situation was established. And there are various stages that is developed. Stage number 1 is planning, that is for the 3 days, and the students use the expressway or expressway series and the library to gain the research skills and needed to do the project. So whatever they need the research project, they need the expressway series and the library to gain the research skill that is needed to do the project. And they also studied democratic procedures during the unit that has a different levels of the government, that is the stage number 1 planning. And that includes the student met in the pre-arranged groups to discuss the formation of their countries, and each group have a given a set of questions. Each group have a set of questions that is established, that is used with this one, so that everyone can get or anyone can get the access to the unit that is established, so that everyone can get the access in the typical party, that may be a political unrest and the cultural concern, that may be in the next stage. Teacher may be grouped into the various activities, right? And the student group or the next stage that is used is the information retrieval, that is how we are going to retrieve the information, that is the next. So the next stage, that is the information retrieval. So how she is getting the information, that is also for the 3 days, that is available for the 3 days. The next is the information processing. Yeah, this is one of the important information that the group uses the or use the library resources, for example encyclopedia, atlas, and the various books to gather the information. So it's the responsibility of the group to gather the information, whether they are using the library resources, whether they are using the atlas, and whether they are using the books to gather the information on their country's problem. And the teacher also checked the rough bibliography from each group, that is how or when they are going to deliver the information. So this is the information retrieval. Then next part is the information processing. So after planning, after information retrieval, the next part that is available is the information processing, that is processing the information that is used to that makes the points from the notes, from the text, graphics, charts, and the diagram. And students then made inferences and assumptions and use the creativity, that is how they are using the fact or how they are using the criteria for which they are using or for which they are preferring the bibliographics, right? So they create their own country profiles, and profiles were checked by the teacher for demographic, geographic, resources, climates, problems, and the responses to the above problem that is carried out, that is going to deliver within the activities. And then next is the information sharing, that how the information will be shared. So that is the next part, that is for the 3 days. So using the student produce maps, flags, logos, charts on laws and punishments, a list of possible natural resources, and a paragraph on developing and improving their countries. Each group presented its country into the class and led the class in a discussion. So everyone led the class in a discussion, so that everyone has a profile in getting the knowledge, that is how they are going to deliver on a various subjects, right? Then last stage, that is the evaluation. that is how to evaluate the material, that is one of the things, that is how to evaluate whether the production that is carried out is correct or not. So student provided input to teachers on the most successful and the least successful aspect of the assignment, and specific areas of the concern such as the time allotted, resources available, method of evaluation, and suggestions for improving the assignment was discussed. That is the evaluation. And this is the next example, that is a sample number 4, that is from the classroom of James Null. So this is, she is a person, she is a science teacher and a DNA atomic teacher librarian at Dancourt Junior High School in Edmonton. And James and the Diane both have 20 years of teaching experience, and Diane works with the teaching staff to develop an integrated library program. Right. So this is one of the activity, that is this is one of the, we can say, the person that have a activity or that have a science, or she is a science teacher, that and the Diane Hatun, that is a teacher librarian that is works, or that works as at a school that is available in the high school in the in Minto. And James and the Diane both have 20 years of teaching experience that is carried out within the activity that is going, that have 20 years of teaching experience to develop an integrated program or integrated library program. Now, what is the main topic? That is a culmination of the history of the Earth unit. So, this is one of the topic that is available. That is a culmination of the history of the Earth unit that is available, and preparation of a trip to the Tyre Museum. So, this is one of the topic that prepare a history of the Earth unit and the mechanism for the various units that is going on. So subject is science and the grade is 76 and the number of students is 32, and the time allowed, that is the 10 class periods. Objective, what is the main objective? To motivate the student to use creativity and ingenuity to present the material to their peers. That is the main objective. Then level is the advanced level. Research stages is all, that emphasis on the information sharing. That is more emphasis is on the information sharing, but research is available at all the stages. Right. So let's see about the various stages. The stage number 1 is the planning, that is for the 2 days. The unit, the history of the earth, was taught in the class, but students were told a library project that is carried out or that is going to discuss, that will be the concluding activity. And the students selected their own topic from any section of the unit and were given complete freedom to choose how. How means alone, group, and method. So whatever their method that is using, that they are using, so student selected their own topic from any section of the unit and were given complete freedom to choose how to present the material. Either they want to present the material in the group, alone, or any method that may be used, a PPT, PDF, anything that they are using. That is step 1. So the main focus on these activity, or whatever we are studying about these activity, the main focus is on the various activities, various stages. The first stage is the planning. So how we are planning, or how we are going to plan in the activity, that is the stage number 1. So planning includes how the delivery will take place, and how various topics will take place, and various sections that gives a freedom to choose how to present the material. And at the end of this stage, students inform the teacher of their plan and product and provided a very general evaluation criteria. So at the end of the stage, or at the end of this stage, that is the planning, students inform the teachers of their plan and end product. That is, what is their plan and product, and provides a very good evaluation criteria outline. Example, the videotape production, special effects, sound, creativity, contents, technical quality. That is one of the criteria that is used for themselves, teachers, and teacher librarian to use. That is stage number 1, that is a planning. Then stage number 2, that is information retrieval, that is also for the 2 days. So students collected information from a variety of sources, including the catalogs, reference books, and other non-fiction books that is used, that contains the audio-visual material and the pamphlet files and a magazine index. The teacher and the teacher librarian were available for the consultation. So teacher and the teacher librarian is also available for the consultations, so that a student will consult about what the information they are receiving, what the information they are gaining, so whether that information is corrected or not. So they gain the information from the teacher, from the librarian, that is the information retrieval. And the teacher librarian marked a working bibliography. So they marked a working bibliography that is available, that is the information retrieval. That is the information processing. The student choose their own strategies to select, evaluate, organize, and record the information before beginning work on their final project. So student choose their strategy. That is the stage number 3. That is how they process their information. So student choose their strategy or their own strategies to select, evaluate, organize, and record the information before beginning on their final project. That is the information processing. And students were encouraged to consult the teacher and teacher librarian for the feedback. So students were also encouraged to consult the teacher whether they are providing the correct input, whether they are taking the correct input or not, and also provide the feedback. The teacher librarian conducted in-services on the video camera, so whether they are conducting the video conferencing, whether they are conducting the online teaching, online site, whatever they are moding, online meeting, whatever they mode they are using, so but they process the information that is for the 3 days. Then information sharing, that is how they share the information. So most students presenting their project to the whole class. So whatever the ideas, whatever the concern they are feeling, so they share their information about each other in the form of videotapes, in the form of puppet show that describing the eras of the earth history, numerous posters, written reports, poems, whatever they are mode they are getting, that mode will be helpful for sharing the information, that is the information sharing. The end product was evaluated according to the criteria outlined developed by the student. So whatever the end product that is getting out, so they are evaluated according to the criteria that is outlined developed by the student. One more thing, please listen students. Today there is no break in the class, but the class finishes 15 to 20 minutes early. So I'm so sorry. So there is no break in the today's class. The class will continue, but it will finish due to some reason it will finish before 15 minutes, that is at the 5:30 as per the IST. All right, so there is no break in the class. So next stage, that is the stage number 5, that is the evaluation. That is how we are evaluating the materials. That is the student as an audience wrote the responses to the class presentations. The student used then these responses to reflect on their experience. So whatever experience they are getting, so they are getting the experience, they are getting the experience on their exposures to meet what their exposure will be, what their response will be to the class presentations. And the students use these responses to reflect on their experience. So that is the evaluation. So they also use the responses to reflect on their experience. Students provides teacher and the teacher librarian with their own assessment based on the evaluation criteria. So students also provided the teachers and the teacher librarian their own assessment. So whatever their assessment that is provided to the teacher and the teacher librarian, that is based on the evaluation criteria outline. So that is based on the evaluation method, that is the criteria outline, and reach the final evaluation. So that reaches the final evaluation, that is the stage number 5, that is evaluation during a conference with the teacher and the teacher librarian. That is the stage number 5, that is the evaluation, that is how they are getting to or how they reach to the final evaluation during a conference with the teacher and the teacher librarian. That is the stage number 5, that is the evaluation. So this is the one of the activity that is carried out by the one of the teacher, that is a James Knoll, that is a science teacher, and also the librarian that is available at one of the schools. So these are the 5 activities that is carried out by the teacher. Now next activity, that is a sample number 5, that is a division number 4, that is from the classroom of Ed Somerville. So Ed Somerville is a person that have a 15 years of teaching experience and is a currently working as a teacher librarian and a social studies 30 teacher at Lindsay Thurbal Comprehensive High School in Reddy. So she have a or he has a 15 years of teaching experience and currently working as a teaching librarian and also studied about the social science study at the Lindsay High School in the Red BS. So this is a story of a person. This is one of the activity. Now what is the main topic? That is the population and the resource development in the third world countries. So what is the population and how the resource will be distributed in that third world countries, right? That is the main topic. Then what is the subject? That is a social studies 20. That is one of the subject, that is social studies 20. Then grade level is the 11. The number of students is the 30. So grade level is 11 and the number of students that is available is the 30, and the time that is available is 3 to 4 class periods. that is time that is available, that is a 3 to 4 class period, that is 80 minutes per period. Then what is the main objective? The main objective will be used, so students will develop a strategy that allows them to identify and define a problem of population, that is inadequate uh, resource distribution in the third world country. So students will develop a strategy that allows them to identify what is the main problem of population or inadequate resource distribution in the third world country. They will be able to suggest possible solutions to the problems identified. So what is the main problem that is identified? What is the main target that is identified as a third world country? So what is the main objectives? The students will develop a strategy that allows them to identify and define a problem of population, that and or inadequate resource distribution in a third world country. That is what is this is the main objective. They will be able to suggest the possible solutions to the problem identified. So what is the main possible solution that is developed? That is what is the main objective of this one. And level, that is available at all the levels, that is the level is all. Then what are the research stages? So the all emphasis on the information processes. So main focus is on the information processes, that is the research stage. The main focus is on the information processes, but it is available at all the stages. So what is the main objective? The student will carry out the strategy, that is how to identify and define a problem of the population that will be used in the third world country, right? So now let's start with the stage number 1, that is the planning only for the one day. This activity was cooperatively planned by the teacher, librarian and the teacher. So this was cooperatively means in a collaboration with each other. This activity was planned by the teacher, librarian and the teacher. Now, the subject teacher was responsible for the pre-research phase of this unit and discussed the curriculum goals of the unit with the student. So, the subject teacher was responsible for the pre-research phase of this unit. So, this is the responsibility of such research teacher or subject teacher that was responsible for the pre-research phase of this unit and discuss the curriculum goals of the unit with the student. That is the responsibility of the research teachers, or that is the responsibility of the subject teacher to make a pre-research phase. So before research there is a phase that is known as the pre-research phase of the unit and discuss the curriculum goals of the unit with the students. The teacher provided students with an outline of the requirement of the assignment. So teacher provide the student what is the main requirement of the assignment, that is what is the just like if I'm giving you an assignment, that is like in the last class I've discussed about the assignment. In the same way the teacher provide the students with an outline of the requirement of the assignment, the options available and describes the method of evaluating the unit. That is how they are gaining to access the methods, what are the various options that is available and describes the method of evaluating the content. So that is how to write the assignment, what are the various options that is available for writing the assignments and describes the method of evaluating the unit. The research phase of this assignment was described and the teacher, librarian input and participation in the teaching and evaluation of the unit were explained. So research phase of this assignment were described and the teacher, librarian gained the experience, gained the knowledge in the teaching and the evaluation of the unit that were explained. Right? And during this pre-research stage, the subject teacher defines the essay question and identifies the problem to be solved. So during this pre-research stage, whosoever the subject teacher that defines the essay question, that is what are the various essay questions and identifying the problems to be solved. That is the pre-research stage in which the subject teacher defined the essay question, that is what are the various essay questions that is available for the research and identifies the problem to be solved. Then the students also selected a developing or also developed a country for their output for their activities that is carried out in their procedures that is carried out for their activities that is used over here. Hello, hi Joseph, are you able to hear me right now? Joseph, my voice is now clear to you? Okay, okay, Joseph. So this is one of the stage that is available. That is the stage number one. That is the planning. So how the planning will be done within the activity, or how we are going to plan out. So that is one of the activity that is available. So that is the planning. That is the day number one activity. So this activity was collaboratively planned by the teacher, librarian, and the teachers. And the subject teacher was responsible for the pre-research phase of this unit and discussed the curriculum goals of the unit with the students. The teacher also provided students with an outline of the assignments or requirement of the assignments, the options available, and describe the method of evaluating the unit. The research phase of the assignment was described, and the teacher librarian input and participation in the teaching and evaluation of the unit were explained. So whatever the unit, whatever the teacher librarian experience that is available with the teacher, that also provide the student with an outline of the requirement of the assignment, the options available, and describes the method of evaluating the unit. And one of the research stage that is also available, that identifying the problem that is to be solved. And the student selected a developing country to study from a list that is prepared by the teacher and the teacher librarian. So student selected a developing country to study from a list that is prepared by the teacher and the teacher librarian, and the list was limited to countries in which the suitable information was available. So whatever the list that was limited to the countries in which the suitable information was available, that means the list is very limited to the various countries, and the students used an encyclopedia to get a general outline of the information. That is how to get the encyclopedia to get a general outline of the information and to narrow their topic. So whatever the topic that is carried out, so they carried out the topic in a narrow base and prepare a thesis statement to explain the reasons or events that may have contributed to the country's status. So whatever the status that is gathering, so they are gathering the status of the developing countries and also develop the research questions to guide their research. So whatever the guide question that is getting out, that is getting out from the research activity, that is one of the activity that is available with the student, that is carried out by the students. And also prepare a thesis statement. This is one of the important whenever you are taking the project or undertaking any project, or you are going to do the PhD, for example. So you have to prepare a thesis statement to explain the reasons or events that may have contributed to the country's statue or status as a developing country. So whatever the developing country, they have a status, they are going to develop a country status in a developed country. Also develop a list of the research questions to guide their research, submitted to the teacher, and before they begin, a list of the resources they thought to be very useful or helpful to them. So whatever the resources, whatever the requirement that is carried out, so they carried out the various activity that is carried out to join the resources, to guide the resources, or to guide the research, and the list of resources that is carried out, that is very helpful to them. And students were expected to check with the teacher and the teacher librarian for feedback as they progress through each step in the assignment. So whatever the assignment, whatever the teacher gives the assignment, that will there, that the students were expected to check with the teacher and the teacher librarian for the feedback as they progressed with each step in the assignment. So what are the various steps that is carried out? So complete a formal written paper and outline. This is one of the important points. So complete and every we can say the paperwork that is available. So complete a formal written paper and the outline. Then present their work to the class in an oral presentation with the chart. So present their work. So whatever the work they are getting to the class. So whatever they are getting, whatever the work they have done. So present that work to the whole class in an oral presentation with the help of the chart. Whatever they need, whatever they occupy, so that chart will be prepared. Then design a short quiz on their material to check peer understanding. That means design a short quiz. That means design a short quiz means design a small letter that is available on their material to check the peer understanding, optional. Then assess the fellow students in evaluating their oral presentation. So whatever the oral presentation they are getting, so design a short quiz on their material to check the peer understanding, that is very optional, and also assess the fellow students in evaluating their oral presentation. So whatever the fellow students they are gathering, so they evaluate the oral presentation in the oral presentation. Next checklist that is available that completes a list of references to be submitted with the final draft of the paper. So whatever the reference that they are getting, so that completes a list of the reference that is to be submitted with the final draft of the paper. Then next is demonstrate the understanding of the research process by applying the previously learned skill. So whatever that learned skill, whatever the skill that is required, to develop or demonstrate the understanding of the research process or whatever the research process they are gathering by applying the previously learned skills. That is understanding the research process, that is demonstrating whatever the research process they are gathering. Now, planning is over. That means plan out what are the various feedback, what are the various progress stages that is available in the planning phase. Now, second phase, that is the information retrieval. That is how we are going to retrieve the information. That is also the activity of the one day in this example. In this, the students were provided with the list of the resources to complete the research. So whatever the research, whatever the complete research that they are gathering, so they get the research activity for the various plan out for various activity that is carried out with the various we can say the expectation that is met with the students. So students were provided with a list of the resources to complete the research, and students were expected to apply all the information gathering skills mastered to this point to locate the current information. So they were expected to apply all the information gathering skills. So whatever the gathering skills, whatever the information gathering access they are gathering, they are getting, so they want to apply that information in a gathering skills to the locate the current information. And students were encouraged to use other libraries also. That means that is not the information is very specific to the library. No, the information is also going out of the library so that they can access to supplement the school library resources also. And students were expected to gather the information from the computers, video cassettes, film strips, and the films. So they get the internet or information from the internet, from the computers, anything that is we can say the digital India we. In the same way, there is a digital processes that is carried out. That is everything is computerized. So any student can get the information from any process, from computers, video cassettes, and the films that is available. At this stage, students were evaluated by the teacher librarian on their working bibliography. This is also one of the important point. At this phase also it is the role of the teacher to guide their student or to we can say the monitor their students, evaluate their students on the working bibliography. This is the information retrieval. So at last teacher will check whether the student will enjoy or whether the student will retrieve the exact information that is required for the processing or not. If not, so guide the student how they are getting the information, what are the various sources by which they gather the information. Now stage number 3, that is the information processing. That is the third stage, that is for the 2 days. So students were taught to identify the relevant information as they read. So what they were taught to identify what is the relevant information as they taught. So whatever the information they are gathering, they are going to tackle, they are going to identify the relevant information as they read. And they were expected to identify main ideas and details relevant to their topic. So they were expected to identify what are the main ideas, what are the main details that is relevant to the topic, and to assimilate new vocabulary, to summarize the information, and to use the text structure. That means they are able to identify what are the main ideas, what are the main details that is available, that is relevant to the main topic, and to also assimilate the new vocabulary. That is also assimilate means also introduce a new vocabulary, to summarize the information. That means to assimilate the information, and to use the text structure such as the chapter heading to assist them in their search. So this is also the how we can going to get the information processing. That is how to process the information, what are the various basic ideas to process the information. So first is the planning, that is plan out what is going to study. Then information retrieval, that is retrieve out the information. Then the information processing, that is process the information in the form of the data structure, text structure, chapter heading, and to assist them to summarize the information, to assist them in their search. that is the information processing. Then the stage number 4, that is the information sharing. That is the stage 4. That is how the information next stage, that is also a part of the research skill. That is sharing the information among the individual, among the students, among the teacher and the librarian. That is the information sharing. That is also for the 2 days. So students prepare their findings to the class as a whole. So students present their finding, whatever the finding they are prepared. So they share their information to the class as a whole. That is an oral synopsis. Then the stage number 5 is the evaluation. So after sharing the information, that may be any mode, that may take any method for sharing the information. So after sharing the information, the next step is to use the class as a whole. Or the next step is to evaluation. After sharing, there is the evaluation. That is the last stage. That is the stage number 5. That is the evaluation. So student provides the feedback, or students provided the feedback to the teacher and the teacher librarian on the assignment, and identifying the research skills they could use in other subjects. So whatever the evaluation method, whatever the feedback they are gaining the evaluation method to teach the teacher and the teacher librarian on the assignments, and also identifying the research skills as they could use in the other subject. That is the stage number 5. That is the evaluation. That is evaluating the material, evaluating the things, that is providing the feedback to the teacher and the teacher librarian on the assignment. Now this is the last, I think, sample. That is the last sample of this. Yeah, and this is also, I think, one of the last activity of the today's class. So that is the sample number 6. That is the division number 4. That is from the classroom of John Phillips, that is the teacher librarian, and the Claire Dawn, that is the English teacher. So there are two persons that is available. One is the John Phillips, that is a teacher librarian, and one is a Claire Dawn, that is the English teacher at the St. Francis High School in Calgary. So there are two persons. One is the teacher librarian, one is the English teacher. They are a teacher at the, or they are available at the St. Francis High School in Calgary, and John has a 19 years of teaching experience, and Claire has 7. So Joan has a totality of the 19 years of teaching experience, and Claire has a 7 years of experience. Assume that how they experience they have. So they are going to tell out some details and tell out some ideas, gain out some knowledge. That is how the activity will be going on. Topic is live from Hollywood. Wow, this is a very important topic. That is how we are getting the live from the Hollywood news, Hollywood movies, Hollywood pictures. Then subject is English. Right, grade is 11, number of student that is available is 25, then time is 1 week. Then what is the main objective? What is the main objective? That is to have student research a poet's life and works, and to present this information in the form of a TV interview. That is how to present the information, or how to have a student's research a poet life. So to have a student research on a poet life, that is a research, and also works, and to present this information in the form of the TV interview. That means first of all gain each and every information about the poet life, then present that information, that relevant information, in the form of the TV interview. That is the main task, that is the main role of this one. Students selected 3 other interviews as they would like to view, and also sorry uh, and the level that is available at the all, and the research stage is the all. That means there is no specific idea that is available, there is no more focus, but every phase is very important phase for each activity, that is the research stages. Now let's start with the various stages. That is stage number 1, that is the first stage, that is the planning, that is for the 1 day. Students were introduced a wide range of Canadian poets and poetry. So students were introduced with a various range of poets, that is the different poets are available. So they introduced with the various poets, and they carried out the various activities and the poetry, and the techniques of interviewing seen on the various TV shows were then discussed. So what are the various techniques of getting the interviews that is seen on the various TV shows that were discussed, and students work in the pair. So most of the students work in the pair, that is they work in the group, so that they getting out or they interview the various poets that is available poetries, and the studies one assigned a poet. That means every group is assigned one poet and they study about that poet, what is their lifestyle, what is their background. That means every R&D, that is a research and development, that is carried out of that poet, that is carried out by the group of the persons, group of the student, that is in one group. They studied the one assigned poet, determine their method of production, presentation, resources to use and research questions. The interview was the only product evaluated. So interview is the best method to evaluate or to gain the knowledge from the various persons, or to gain the knowledge about the poet's life. So the interview gives the exact each and every information about the poet. The students selected three interviews they would like to view and evaluate. So they selected, or they're going to take the three interviews that is available that they would like to view and evaluate. And the teacher and the teacher librarian then worked with the class as a whole to determine the evaluation criteria. That is, what is the evaluation criteria and the value. So students selected three other interviews also to evaluate, to view and evaluate, and the teacher librarian then worked with the class as a whole to determine the evaluation method, evaluation criteria that is going on, and the value. That is stage number one, that is a planning, that is only for the one day. Now, what are the various evaluation criteria? What are the various values that is going to carry out? The criteria includes, first is the interview technique. That is, what are the various interview techniques that is carried out? So that includes costuming and makeup, then eye contact, acting abilities, then enunciation, then knowledge of the script, then body language and the voice production. This is one of the important technique. That is interview technique. That is what a very interview technique that is available. That is costuming and makeup, eye contact, then acting abilities. That is how you can act on this one, or any idea that you can act on. And then knowledge of the script, then the body language and the voice projection. So if you are taking the interview, your voice projection should be accurate. Then body language and the voice projection, that is also very accurate in this one. The next is the interview concept. So one is the interview techniques, what are the various techniques, how you use the body language and so on. Then next is our interview concepts or content. So first is the introduction and the conclusion. So first introduce about yourself, then take the introduction of the other. Conclusion, poetry reading, that is 2 or 3 poems, then bibliographic information that includes the childhood, education, current family life, resident, pets, children education, current occupation, etc. Then important influences on the writing, method of the writing, amount of time to write, then where ideas came from, list of work, physical samples of the people. These are the various interview contents or interview content that is available. So first of all, start with the introduction, then conclusion, poetry reading, bibliographic information about the childhood, education, current family life, resident, pets, and start the information. Next step is stage number 2, that is the information retrieval. So students use the videos, books, anthologies, vertical files, etc. to locate the information about and by their poet. So students use the videos and the books, anthographics, vertical files to locate the information. So whatever the information they are going, so they use the books, video, vertical files to locate the information about and by their poet. They selected two or more or 2 or 3 poems to discuss in their interview. That is the information retrieval. So gain the information in the form of the selected poems to discuss in their interviews. Then this is the information retrieval. That is how they retrieve the information in the form of the videos, in the form of the graphics, books, anthologies, vertical files, etc. Then next is information processing. So after retrieving the information, the next stage is the information processing. So for script development, students use bibliographic information as well as the poetry reading and try to make the interview as authentic as possible by including the information about the poet personality, temperament and the appearance. So whatever the information they are going to process, so they carried out the bibliographic information about the poet as well as the reading to make the interview very authentic as possible by including the information about the poet personality. So whatever the poetic personality that is carried out by the information processing, that is going to add on during the poet personality, temperament and the appearance. And each pair depends on their interview format and the content of the interview. That is each pair, whatever the pair that they are decided on the interview, whatever their format and content of the interview. And each pair was responsible for rehearse on their own time. So whatever their own time, they are going to increase with the information processing, and that script will be appeared, that is the information processing. So this information processing is one of the, we can say, important phase, but in this is mentioned that this is available at all the stages, but this is the important phase because in this phase we have to check, we can say check importantly that which person is very good in this one, and which person is not, by taking the interview. That is for the processing the information. So for script development, students use the bibliographical information as well as the poetry reading and try to make the interview as authentic as possible. So they gain the information as authentic as possible by including the information about the poet's personality. That is, what is the poet personality? That is how we are going to carry it out with the poet's personality, temperament and appearance. That is stage number 5. That is the information processing. Then the stage number 4, that is the information sharing. That is the next part. That is the stage number 4. That is for the 3 days. So each allo minute interview was video tapped and evaluated by the teacher, librarian and 3 students. So every interview was tapped, or we can say the recorded and evaluated by the teacher, librarian and the 3 students. So this is one of the important part. The information will be shared. How the information, how the interview will be shared? By recording the interview. So I record the interview as a teacher or as a student in the form of the video cassettes, in the form of the video tape, in the form of the teacher, librarian and the 3 students. That is, every LO interview was tapped. Technical quality was not evaluated. That means technical quality was not evaluated, only the evaluation is the information shared. A consensus was reached on the teams marked after the discussion. That means a result was reached on the team marked after the discussion. So whatever they are sharing, they gather the information and that marked will be evaluated. That is, the team marked will be evaluated after the discussion. And 4 interviews was evaluated each day. In a one day, 4 interviews were evaluated on a single day. That is, 4 interviews was evaluated on each day. That is 1:4. That means one day 4 interviews were evaluated. That is the information sharing. That is the stage number 4. That is the information sharing. That is for the 3 days. So the content was developed. Content was reached on the teacher marks. On the teacher marks that is used. That is after the discussion. On the teacher discussion. That is carried out. On the team perfection, that is carried out after the discussion. 4 interviews are evaluated on each day. That is, in a single day, 4 evaluation will be conducted. Then at last, stage number 5 is the evaluation. That is the last stage. So students indicated areas of the research most and the least effective. That means they evaluated the information. They indicated what are the various areas of the research activities that is carried out. They are carried out the research activities in the going place into this activity, and this is one of the research most and the least effective activity. So this is one of the evaluation that includes the areas of the research activity. This is one of the example, one of the diagram that shows how the research activity will be carried out. So this is how the information will be shared, information retrieval will be shared, information processing will be shared. So this is one of the sample and the last sample of the from the side of the John Phillips, that's the teacher librarian and the English teacher. All right. So I think we will wind up this class over here only. As I said, there is no break in the today's class, but only the class because I have to leave early. So next is the appendix that I'm going to continue in the next class. So tomorrow is that is the tomorrow's class. So tomorrow is the last class for this module, that is the research skills. All right. And in this class, that is in the appendix, we are going to take out how to make the copy read forms or copy ready forms. That includes the overview of the research skills continuum, teacher's guide for planning research, research activity unit plan, student research plan, group effectiveness appraisal, student self-evaluation, peer evaluation, that is the oral presentation speeches. This is the target of the tomorrow's class, that is tomorrow is the last class for research skill. All right. So thanks a lot everyone for listening me, and that's all for today's session. If there is any doubts, you can ask the doubts from me. Thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye. We'll meet tomorrow with the appendix in the tomorrow's class. So thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye.